How you going, viewers? Now, before I even record this video, I'm just going to let people know that I had no part in making this video. It's titled under Gotham Nation, GOTHAMNATION, and the person that made this video is brilliant. I mean, the reasons behind why people are targeted, I've looked all over the place, and this is it. It's brilliant. I could never have come up with this myself.
Hello everybody! Well, the question has been asked many times and there's been a lot of proposed answers as to why people are being targeted. Why does this program exist in the first place? Is it just for amusement? Well, I'm going to answer that in this video. For those of you who are still kind of on the fence, thinking we're just a bunch of crazy schizos, this program's not real, there's no such thing as government corruption, the government has nothing to hide, and they would never do anything wrong to their own citizens at the behest of multinational foreign interests, you're idiots. So you don't really count intellectually, and honestly, I haven't really heard a decent argument from many of you. Let's just get right down to it, because I hate long intros. The military-industrial complex calls us, and you can look this up in their own white papers, they call us empowered individuals. And I'm reading this right off the RSOF Operating Concept 2022 U.S. Army Special Operations Command. This is the publicized, looking forward, military defense strategy or whatever. And they say one of their main enemies in the future is going to be empowered individuals. People who have influence over their community. Can you believe that? Your own military that you pay for with your own tax money considers you a threat to national security, or I don't know, maybe your own corrupt groups that run the Pentagon, because you are resistant to the prediction software, the social engineering, the manipulation for their agenda, trying to dumb down the population and plug everyone into a proto-matrix technocratic slave grid that they're obviously setting up. And basically it's the standalone complex. It's the 100th monkey theory. Just to briefly explain the 100th monkey theory, it's, the observation where you have a population of monkeys scattered around, maybe in some islands. One of them, they're all eating figs that drop in the sand, and it's destroying their teeth because they get the sand on it, and one of them decides to start washing it off. But without communicating this or physically traveling to another island, all the monkeys in the population in distant islands several miles away start washing off their figs. And it's like, how is this happening? No one knows. It's some kind of weird symbiotic, I don't know, psychic nature thing. And maybe you don't believe in that, fine. What the New Agers would call indigo children, one individual that's like the 1 in 1,000 of a flock of birds that starts to fly off and then all the rest of them follow. What they call it, and I'm just looking at this logically, is basically the standalone complex, or empowered individuals, people who have influence over their community, which they say have always existed as a minority group, but now that we're in an age of globalization and with the advent of the internet, the community that an individual has to influence is now global. And when you have one ants standing up to them, they all might stand up, to quote the movie Ants. And basically, they just absolutely cannot allow that to happen, given the agenda that they have, which has completely flies in the face of national domestic security. But anyway, so it's like, who's the enemy here? Again, they can't let one single person who they've deemed with their algorithm AI software as being non-compatible with the system they're trying to set up, they can't let one influential so-called empowered individual exist or carry on left up to their own devices, because then your ideas, your thought seeds, your demeanor, it spreads, it becomes contagious. It's your personality. It's something that you're not even aware of completely, but they are, because they've been, using the surveillance grid to track everything and how things spread. Kind of like how Amazon can now predict what you're about to order before you even order it. So they start shipping it just based on where your mouse goes over previous, behavioral algorithms, blah, 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 blah. They absolutely cannot let an empowered individual or a super empowered individual be left unharassed. So, isn't it quaint that the military, and it's the same, this is true for basically all NATO countries, that is their commission to protect their population, is deliberately seeking out and targeting the most influential and outgoing individuals of their population with literally lethal weaponry, but it's done so in a covert way so they don't get sued. And, even if they do, they'll just say, well, it's international treaty. They said we could. We have these papers that said that we could, go around doing all these torture programs. We have on paper that says we can test them with chemical, biological agents, radiologicals. So, okay, sure, whatever. The interesting thing is that as a TI, obviously you've been flagged and targeted because you're what they call an empowered individual. I am asking you to do the one thing they really, really don't want you to do, and that's not necessarily make a media operation about the targeting harassment program and government corruption. No. They're more worried about you making a YouTube channel about car collection or how to do house repairs or just talking about, regular politics that, in layman terms. Because what their information is telling them is that your personality and just shining with your own light in a positive way actually has way more influence and reaches way more people, and your underlying sort of vibe of independence and resistance carries with any message that you use. So actually try that out. The best thing you can do is almost sort of carry on as if you've never been targeted, and that's what they really don't want, because the targeting program itself is designed to make you cynical towards your community, conversely making your community reject you as a crazy, and then your influence never gets through. You see that? And then the ripple effects that they're so afraid of never get through. And then they can, carry on with their agenda. So yeah, use the internet to the fullest and just enjoy life and enjoy fighting the enemy with a smile.
Best video I've seen to date. Straight to the point, clear cut and simple to understand. I mean, for many, many years I've been trying to find out why I'm targeted and why I'm going through the beat and going through the shit. And I've made over 100 videos speculating and theorizing and whatnot. But hey, this hits the nail on the head. And I guess this is why you're considered a terrorist. Not an Islamic radical terrorist, but by the standards of this corrupt system, you are a terrorist to the system. You pose a threat in some shape or form. Not that you're going to harm innocent civilians or innocent people, because I already would have done that by now. Given the amount of harassment that local members of my community have engaged in. Knuckleheads. That's exactly what these people are that engage in these fucking harassment programs. They're knuckleheads, they're pawns, and they don't have a mind of their own. I mean, for 2 years straight, I've been harassed 24 hours a day. And don't tell me people can't see that I'm being harassed for no bloody reason. So if they want to label me a terrorist, that's a fucking compliment. I'm not a sheep. I'm not part of these These people that just fall in line, don't question anything, don't follow their own heart, don't follow their own mind. And you know what? They have no creativity. Just straight left brainers. That's what they are. Anyways, nevertheless, I still love, even though my dog's dying right in front of me, even though I'm dying of the same bloody cause, that's fine. I'm not dropping the ball. I'm not giving up, even though I know I'm stuck on an island, okay? And you know what? Overseas, this movement is a lot bigger. But in Australia, it's been suppressed, oppressed, and squashed. It's truly a David and Goliath battle in Australia. Now, I love Australia and I love the Australian people. I don't need to say that ever again. Salute to all my brothers and sisters suffering in silence. I love you all.